Today we are doing something a little different and a lot more magical. We are building a whimsical plant sim house in The Sims 4 using just the base game. This home is meant to feel like it grew straight out of the ground. Think leafy corners, soft natural light, and cozy spaces wrapped in green. Every room is inspired by nature. From ivy-covered nooks to sun-soaked spots where your plant sim can recharge and thrive. I'll show you how to get that lush, enchanted forest vibe without any packs, just creativity and the clever use of base game items. So settle in, enjoy the next few minutes of this relaxing speed build, and don't forget to stay until the end of a full walkthrough of this living, breathing little sanctuary. With that said, let's hop into the build. I started very confidently. I even used the rounded walls and the diagonal walls. At the end, it was not that difficult to decorate the diagonal space, but the rounded walls, that was a pain in the ass during the playtest. But at the end I managed, so if you will download this build, you will have no issues and you can play there freely as you want. I also wanted it to be very whimsical, very magical, but still a plant sim house, so I was struggling very much with the materials used. In my head, a plant sim would never use wood because he would never cut the wood. But at the end, I will use a couple of wood accents here and there and also a couple of wooden furniture. I made my piece and I made a logic in my head in a way that he just found pieces of wood laying somewhere in the forest, and out of that he created the furniture, or out of that he used it on his house. So it's not like he really cutted it, but he used what was available already kinda dead. I've also used a lot of green on this house, like for example this carpet. Never ever you will see me use it again in my build, or never say never, but you haven't seen me using it in any of my builds so far. However, here it resembles the leaves, so I wanted to have it there. It's not across the whole house, as I said, I wanted to have it whimsical, magical, so the house is made out of stone and the floor is also made out of stone at some parts. I've also used this, to me, very ugly, vibrant green kitchen, and the only reason why I chose this one was that at the beginning I didn't want to have a lot of wood. So I was thinking the kitchen should not be wooden, it should be plastic, it should not bother the plant sim. But you will see me swap it shortly after, because I was not set on that. And before you will say a plant sim does not need a kitchen because he is living out of the sun, yes, that's true, but in my mind it was also maybe he would want to make parties, and in the gameplay you need to have a kitchen. Or if he will invite someone, again you need to have a kitchen. If his whole friend circle will not be plant sims, but the normal sims, they need to eat. And plus, it's also good to have at least a fridge for a plant sim, that he can take a drink and just drink and fulfill his water needs. I've also created 3 different entrances, so it's easy for your sims to move across the whole house. And I was also not happy with the fireplace there was, so I created my own using the debug items and the grill. I think it turned out so perfectly. Again, your sim will most probably never use this, but in my head an enchanted cottage like this would have a space like this, so it does not need to be only for a plant sim. You can play here also with a fairy if you have a fairy pack. You can play here also just with a normal sim who is just living in the forest with the nature. And with this rounded space, I created an area to get upstairs and to get through this huge library, which is there for a sim. Honestly, there will be so many books. Never in my life would I be able to read all of them. But if it's for a magical being, they live for like 100 years or so, maybe forever in some cases, so they have the whole life to just read all the books there are. Under this library there is a living room space. I liked how this turned out as well. I've cluttered the space so much, never ever did I clutter a space like this, but I playtested everything, so your sim should not have a problem walking there. And this rounded area at the end I placed above a glass roof because I was thinking for a sim, imagine you're a plant sim who needs to have a sunlight all the time and you're just sitting in this area, the sun is shining on you. Wouldn't that be amazing if you would be this type of a cold sim? Of course, there's going to be a backyard for your sim to actually plant since it's a plant sim. So I created the staircase leading you outside to the backyard. And after I'm done with furnishing the interior, you will see how beautiful the exterior turned out. With decorating the space, I was so much enjoying myself, and it might seem that I was all over the place, and I really was, so I'm sorry for that we will be up and down from time to time, and it's not specifically for one room. But I was going back and forward with all the clutter which I wanted to place, and I couldn't help myself. Now you will see me deciding that I'm going to use the wood no matter what. So I swapped the bathtub with the wooden one, I swapped the kitchen counters with the wooden one. I think it was fitting so much better there. I had plenty of furniture from the wood in that point of time, so I was dedicated to create this space as much in tune with the nature as was possible. I placed there plenty of flowers. I thought to myself, PlantSim would try to save every flower which is somehow dying outside, would put it into the pot and let it grow, and then once it's done, he will just release it into the wild, into the nature again. I've also placed in a couple of rooms, or actually in all of the rooms, the shelves above the height of the windows. I don't know how the sim should get there, but the magical being will definitely make it with pippity pappity boop, and then it can reach whatever it needs. And something about it screamed at me, this is whimsical, this is magical, it should be like that. So a lot of bathroom clutter will go on these shelves, and a lot of plants will go on these shelves. I mean, a lot of plants will go everywhere across the whole build. I just want to point out that this is a dedicated space for the plants, although I think the house was made as a dedicated space for the plants. Moving on to furnishing the bedroom, I decided to place behind the bed a wooden accent wall. I think it was fitting so much nicer, it made the place so much more cozy than the original stone wall which I had there before. Of course, I cluttered the space a bunch, but with these last touches, we will be soon through with furnishing the interior and we will get outside to the exterior. On the opposite side of the bed, I used a new item from the recent reward event, the key display. I think it was fitting here so nice. In my head, this sim is holding the keys to something very magical, to something very mystical, to something very forbidden. It's up to your gameplay if you will see it the same or if you will decide for a totally different story. Let me know in the comments. What was your decision if you will make one? I'm really curious with this build how people are going to play in them. But with that, we are moving outside. I created this balcony using the plants from the debug as a railing because they had the plants on it. I think it looked way better and it was a perfect spot for your sim to soak in the sunlight. I also created a front porch with a little gnome and with of course the flowers and the seating area, because this is again somehow what I see in these whimsical cottages. There is always a little porch in front of it. And moving back to the balcony of the house, this is the place where your sim should get the sunlight. I placed there a grill, even though I don't know if your sim will really use it, and I placed there this bird feeder. I think it's so cute. And also, if your sim is a plant sim, he would need to have a water nearby. And now I placed this whimsical tree right next to it. Don't worry, the leaves will not bother you in your gameplay. I tested it and it looks amazing, especially during the night with the lights and everything, but we will see it later on. And now I'm creating a small pond, again for your sim, for your plant sim. He can get in, he can play there, he can replenish his water needs. I know it's not so fast as when you are in the bathtub, but for a realistic gameplay, this is I think exactly what a plant sim will do. And now I'm putting also a bunch of ivies on the house. I was trying to have the greenery everywhere. I didn't want that the whole house will just be covered in the plants, but I wanted to have like 80% of the plants on the whole house. And I think I achieved this very well. Honestly, I've never placed so much greenery on one house as I did here. And keep in mind, this is all just a base game, so you can find all these ivies in the debug menu. I know when you have another packs, you can have the wine, you can have the flowers. I know it's not here, but honestly, I don't even think it would fit if there would be flowers or the wine. I think how it's now is way better and it's way more fitting to the PlantSim aesthetics, if there is one. Now I created a small little garden for your PlantSim, since this sounds like it's a must with the PlantSim to have somewhere to plant. And as a next, I'm going to use the string lights all over the place. This actually gave such an enchanted vibe to the whole thing, especially in the night. Now I will swap into the night view. Look at it, the tree is super whimsical in general, and then these string lights all around the place. I think it's so beautiful. If I would just be passing this house, I would totally want to visit it. I think I would be one of those kids which would be swapped by the witch and be eaten alive. But we know this is not a house for the witch, this is a house for the PlantSim. So if you will ever cross this house, there should be just pleasant things waiting for you inside. But if you would like to have a house where the witch is living, I created a gingerbread during the Christmas time. You can find it in the gallery, and there is a scary little basement for the naughty kids which are going to be eaten alive. So up to you, just saying, there are options in my builds. But now you can see me decorating the pond which I created. I will also place there a duck, so in the live mode there is also some life around. And as a last, I created the backyard for the sim. It's not really a backyard, it's more like a place for your sim to sit in the nature and relax. I placed a bunch of the gnomes. You will never see me using the gnomes, but here they were fitting so nicely. And I placed there this custom-made fountain, which you will see during the tours in the live mode. But with that, we are slowly finishing and moving to the tours. Thank you so much for watching. This was such a fun for me. I hope it was fun for you too. Don't forget to subscribe, that you will not miss any builds and you will get the notifications directly when I will upload them. Have a wonderful rest of the day and see you next time. Bye bye!